Hey friend, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, we're going to tweak the brightness just a little bit. High Contrast is a 6.8% West Coast style IPA from Drafting Table Brewing Company in Wixom, Michigan. I'm a big fan of Drafting Table, and frankly, when I saw that they were releasing an IPA that wasn't a hazy this or a New England style that, it got me really excited because those really are not very frequent these days. So let's get a look at the label. We'll get it into a glass, but first I'd like to thank my executive producers Brian Kramer and David Jeffries for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe even just buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.com/draft_therapy, where you can get early access to these videos, exclusive members-only live streams, and a few other special perks available only to patrons. Let's take a look. So if we look on the front, it's got a really cool style to it. It says across the top, it says Wixom, Michigan Drafting Table Brewing Company, and then in this almost like neon sign look to it, it's got these stars on it. It says High Contrast IPA, West Coast Style India Pale Ale. It's a really dark label with the red and the blue on it. Just looks really nice. Like I said, it looks kind of neon. If we turn it over to the side here, it says brewed and canned by Drafting Table Brewing Company. You can check them out at draftingtablebeer.com, and it has their address. It says a West Coast style IPA brewed and dry hopped with strata hops, which give it a citrus and dank flavor. As I've mentioned a few times on the Drafting Table labels, what I think is pretty cool is they have a bitterness scale with these different hop cones. This one says it's about 3 3/4 out of 5. Underneath that, it says 6.8% alcohol by volume, net content 16 fluid ounces, and then it tells you the glass to enjoy it out of. This one says to use like a pint or just a regular pint glass, but I got this fancy IPA glass. Why not put it to work? So we're going to go ahead and crack this. There is no canned on date that I can see from this can, but this is a new release. Just hit shelves as far as I know. Let's go ahead and crack this. We're going to put a nose on it. Okay, so this just smells like a really nice West Coast style IPA. You get a lot of that citrus in there. And again, it has a little bit of a dank note to it as well. It actually smells like it has a bit of a malty kind of quality on the nose. Let's go ahead and pour it. Coming out of the can, really nice and clear. No haziness to it. Looks very filtered. Has a nice golden clear look to it coming out of the can. And we'll let that kind of settle for a second. I've got a big heaping helping of about 3.5 to 4 fingers of head on this. Really nice, just a really nice looking beer overall. Very golden, has a nice, just off-white head to it. Let's go ahead and hold it up to the light here. And as you can see there, that's super nice and filtered. There's really no sediment to that, no haziness whatsoever. Let's put a better nose on the glass here. Yeah, just getting more of that citrus kind of quality. Again, a little bit of that dank note to it. Like I said, on the nose out of the can, I was kind of picking up on a bit of a malty kind of aroma coming out of it and out of the glass. That's kind of just a little bit amplified, right? Because it's a bigger kind of sample size to get your sniffer in there and get a better whiff. Let's go pour a little bit more in there. But I'm ready to try this one out. As you can see from the overhead, though, that head pouring in a little bit just left like an impression of the pour, but that head's hitting, just sitting tight on there. It's got a little bit larger bubbles across the side, but on the top, really nice and compact. So let's go ahead and try it out. Cheers. So let's talk about mouthfeel. Mouthfeel right off the bat is very, it's got a little bit of a lighter, crisper mouthfeel. It's not on the heavy side. It's not on the medium side. It's not super light. It's not like a lager or a pilsner where you get that really light, super refreshing, crisp mouthfeel to it, but it is a nice light mouthfeel. It's not something that's going to weigh you down. There's not a lot of heaviness to it. Let's try another drink and we'll talk about the taste here. It has got a nice, okay, so let's start from the beginning. When you take that first kind of taste, it just, this wash of West Coast style bitterness just washes over your tongue right away. There is a bit of a citrus note to it. It does almost has this little bit of a malty kind of quality to it. It's not overly malty. It's not got this big, super malty, sweet kind of flavor to it, but it has a nice citrus flavor to it. It has this kind of citrus, you know, lemony kind of zestiness on the flavor overall, that bitterness. So, you know, like I said at the beginning, at the top, you know, I'm so used to lately these days, it's all been West Coast styles or hazies or, you know, juicy IPAs or whatnot, but this is not in that category. This is very much like a throwback IPA, hopefully a style that's going to start getting a little bit more popular these days, because I think we're getting kind of, I know me personally, I'm getting kind of burnt out a little bit on all the hazy IPAs and all the New England style IPAs. There's just so many of them, and they're nuanced, but they don't have like that kind of nostalgia, that throwback, that kind of flavor that you get out of something like this. You get that bitterness, you get a little bit of a citrus bitterness. There's a little bit of a funky bitterness in there too. There is also a little bit of like a malty kind of profile in there, but it also has like a malty kind of bitterness in there as well. So it's not like, when I think of West Coast, I think of super sour, like not sour, but super bitter, like puckeringly bitter kind of profile. It's not quite that bitter. So it's not over the top, you know, West Coast style, but it is very reminiscent of the West Coast IPA, you know, flavor that you might be used to if you're looking for a West Coast. But at 6.8%, it just has a nice kind of, you know, it's a little bit higher in ABV for a single, but it's not, you know, it doesn't like blow your mouth out. You can have a couple of these, and the bitterness isn't too extreme. It's a little bit more of a mild kind of West Coast style IPA. I don't think it's going to be something that you would expect from like a Stone IPA or maybe Sierra Nevada, like their IPA style, a real West Coast style IPA. It's not quite as bitter as one of those. It's a little bit pulled back from that, but I think if you're looking for like a connector between, you know, maybe like you're like me and you're kind of getting over all the New Englands lately, all the hazies and everything like that, and you just want to have a little bit of a change of pace, you know, try an IPA, but go back to the roots and go back to having something that's bitter and not necessarily just juicy and fruity and have all these different flavors. And not that a West Coast style can't have all those flavors, but this is more of a throwback, more of a nostalgic kind of taste and take on an IPA. Definitely in that West Coast vein, maybe not quite as West Coast bitter as I would expect to see out of something that labels itself as a West Coast, but definitely in that same ballpark, in that same family. Again, just like there's differences in New England's and hazies, and like I said, different fruit combinations, there's obviously different flavors in West Coast style IPAs as well. This one I feel is a little bit on the lighter side, but I think this is definitely a serviceable West Coast style IPA. Again, if you're looking for something that's just a little bit different than New England's and all the hazies and all the juicies out there, you should try and pick up High Contrast from Drafting Table. All right, friends, that has been High Contrast from Drafting Table in Wixom, Michigan. Have you had this beer before? Do you have a favorite West Coast style IPA you think I should check out? Are you maybe burnt out on the New England style and the hazy IPAs too? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about beer twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's all for free for viewers just like you, and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribing and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. These guys are in Wixom, Michigan, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Cheers.